The truth has finally surfaced, and it's more shocking than anyone could have imagined. The cat is completely out of the bag on the extreme lengths this group went to orchestrate your downfall. The elaborate schemes, the coordinated efforts, the behind-the-scenes manipulation, it's all being exposed right now for everyone to see. The depths of their deceit and the calculated moves they made to create this specific ending for you is leaving people absolutely stunned. What they thought would stay hidden forever is now being dragged into the light. No more secrets, no more hiding. The universe has a way of revealing what's done in darkness. Now they'll have to face the consequences of their actions while you stand in your truth. That's cosmic justice at work. They thought darkness could hide their deeds forever. They believed secrets could be buried so deep that not even the light of truth could reach them. Wrong. Dead wrong. What was once shrouded in shadow now stands naked under the merciless glare of revelation. The cat isn't just out of the bag. It's screaming from the rooftops, and every ear is tuned to its cry. Every single move they made against you has been catalogued in the cosmic ledger. Every whisper, every plan, every calculated strike, recorded with perfect clarity. Nothing escapes the great accounting, nothing. And now the books have been thrown open for all to witness. Look around you. See how they scramble like insects when a rock is overturned. Their power was always an illusion, a house of cards built on quicksand. And now the ground beneath them liquefies, the structure collapses, and they grasp desperately at falling debris. Too late, too late. The very machine they built to silence you now amplifies your truth. The harder they worked to erase you, the more permanent your mark became. Divine irony at its finest. Their desperation to control the outcome only accelerated their undoing. The universe has a wicked sense of humor, doesn't it? Their frantic attempts to maintain the narrative are failing spectacularly, moment by moment, breath by breath. What they failed to understand, what they could not comprehend, was that darkness cannot survive when light decides to arrive. And arrive it has, in blinding, uncompromising waves. The truth spreads like wildfire through dry brush, consuming every fabrication, every manipulation, every carefully constructed lie. Those stories they told, those masterful fictions woven to paint themselves as heroes and you as villain, disintegrating, molecule by molecule, atom by atom, these lies dissolve into the nothingness from which they came. They positioned themselves as righteous defenders of order. They wrapped themselves in false virtue and pointed fingers outward to distract from their own corruption. Such breathtaking arrogance, such spectacular miscalculation. The foundations of their narrative were rotten from the start, and now the entire structure groans under the weight of truth. Hear that sound, the creaking, splintering symphony of their collapse. It's the sweetest music. The harmony of justice, long delayed, but finally arriving with thunderous presence. Even their most loyal supporters now avert their eyes. Even their staunchest allies step back, one by one, unwilling to be caught in the crushing gravity of their downfall. The whispered questions become spoken doubts, become shouted accusations. Those who once defended them now question their own judgment, wondering how they were so thoroughly deceived. The evidence mounts, the pattern emerges. What seemed like isolated incidents now form an undeniable constellation of malice. The picture is complete, and it tells a story they can no longer control, a story of calculated destruction aimed directly at you. Those countless nights they spent constructing alibis, manufacturing evidence, rehearsing their synchronized testimonies, all wasted effort. The elaborate scaffolding of their deceit cannot withstand the earthquake of revelation now shaking its foundations. Watch as each carefully placed strut buckles. Watch as each load-bearing falsehood cracks under pressure. Their words ring hollow now. Those passionate denials, those tearful protestations of innocence, those righteous claims of persecution, all exposed as theatrical performances designed to manipulate emotion and short-circuit logic. The audience now sees behind the curtain, watches the mechanical workings of their deception, and the magic of their illusion vanishes forever. They rewrote history with you as the antagonist. They revised reality to suit their narrative. They recreated events to justify their actions. But reality is stubborn. Truth persists. And now, the authentic timeline reasserts itself with unstoppable force, washing away their fabrications like sandcastles before the tide. Their campaign against you was not casual, not random, not the product of misunderstanding or circumstance. It was deliberate, methodical, relentless, a coordinated effort designed with one purpose: your complete elimination from the board. Those coincidences that undermined you, engineered, those misunderstandings that isolated you, manufactured, those friends who suddenly turned cold, manipulated. Every setback, every obstacle, every betrayal, all pieces of their grand design. The effort they invested in your destruction speaks volumes about what they feared in you. Why such resources dedicated to one person? Why such attention fixed on your removal? Because in you, they recognized a force that could not be controlled. In you, they saw the seeds of their inevitable exposure. And now people wake to the truth. Those unwittingly made complicit in their schemes recoil in horror at their own participation. "We didn't know," they whisper. "We couldn't see the bigger picture." But ignorance offers thin shelter from the storm of consequence now breaking upon them all. The attacks against you, once dismissed, minimized, justified, now stand revealed in their naked brutality. The psychological warfare, the character assassination, the systematic dismantling of your support systems, all of it meticulously planned, ruthlessly executed, and now completely exposed. Those whisper campaigns designed to isolate you, those rumors strategically placed to undermine your credibility, those false concerns shared to question your stability, all documented now, all traced back to their source, all revealed as tactical maneuvers in their war against your existence. There was a moment, a single crystalline instant, when their control faltered, when the mask adhered so tightly to their face, developed a hairline crack. Did you see it? That flash of panic in their eyes? That momentary stutter in their carefully rehearsed narrative? That was the beginning of the end. In their arrogance, they believed themselves beyond discovery. In their hubris, they thought themselves untouchable architects of reality. What magnificent delusion! What spectacular blindness! They failed to understand the most fundamental law of existence. Truth cannot remain buried forever. They attempted to rewrite history with you cast as footnote rather than chapter. They tried to diminish your significance, your contribution, your very being. But truth is stubborn. Reality resists revision. And now their fictional account crumbles against the unyielding wall of what actually happened. Watch them scramble now. Watch them point fingers at each other as the ship sinks beneath them. Watch them rewrite their own involvement, claim ignorance, plead misunderstanding. Too late. The evidence stands immovable, and their desperate backpedaling only confirms their guilt. Their panic is palpable, a living thing that radiates from them in waves. They make mistakes now. They contradict themselves. They reveal more than they intend with every attempt to maintain control. The more they struggle, the more entangled they become in their own web. That slight tremor in their voice when questioned directly, that nervous laughter when pressed for details, that sudden aggression when confronted with inconsistencies, all betraying the turmoil beneath their crumbling facade, all signaling the desperation of those who feel control slipping away forever. Their eyes dart now, seeking exits that no longer exist. Their words trip and stumble over each other as rehearsed scripts fail them. Their confident pronouncements give way to stammered qualifications. The polished performance deteriorates before a suddenly attentive audience. Remember how they stood before everyone, radiating absolute certainty. How their voice never wavered as they described their version of events. How they maintained unwavering eye contact, while delivering complete fabrications. That unshakable confidence was their greatest weapon, and now it abandons them when they need it most. Poetic, perfect, precise in its timing. Behind every conspiracy stands an architect. Behind every coordinated attack hides a strategist. The puppets danced, but someone specific, pulled their strings. That elder, that leader, that central figure who orchestrated it all while maintaining plausible deniability. They now stand in the harsh spotlight of scrutiny. Their fingerprints, once invisible, now glow with damning luminescence on every aspect of this plot. The hierarchy of this destruction is being mapped in real time. The foot soldiers, the lieutenants, the generals, and finally, the commander who gave the orders. Links in a chain of malice that stretches back further than anyone suspected, connected to power structures that feared what you represented. Those who moved in shadow presumed the darkness would protect them eternally. What a catastrophic miscalculation. Shadows exist only where light is blocked, and light now floods in from every direction. No corner remains dark enough to hide their involvement. Every plan they made to isolate you, backfiring, every scheme designed to ruin you, rebounding, every betrayal engineered to break you, strengthening you instead. The cosmic machinery of justice runs with perfect precision, transmuting their toxic intentions into the very medicine that heals what they sought to destroy. The puppet master believed they were untouchable, hidden behind layers of protection, directing operations through intermediaries, maintaining pristine public image while orchestrating your destruction from comfortable distance. Such calculated safety, such meticulous insulation from consequence. All for nothing, the threads connecting them to every attack stand revealed, vibrating with undeniable resonance. They operated in the material realm, forgetting, or perhaps never knowing, that deeper currents flow beneath the surface of reality. Universal law cannot be deceived, manipulated, or escaped. It operates with mathematical precision, returning to each soul exactly what they have sent forth. Divine order isn't a pleasant fiction designed to comfort the wounded. It's the underlying framework of existence itself. And now they confront this immutable truth with trembling knees and quaking hearts. What they unleashed returns to them multiplied, amplified, unavoidable. The warnings came, the signs appeared. The opportunities for course correction presented themselves with increasing urgency. All ignored, all dismissed with sneering confidence. And now the bill comes due, and they discover too late that their spiritual credit is deeply, catastrophically overdrawn. The universe maintains perfect accounts. Nothing is missed, nothing is forgotten, nothing escapes the great balancing. For every action against you, a reaction forms in the unseen realms. For every injustice committed, restoration gathers strength. For every lie spoken, truth marshals its forces. Did you know the Obsidian Inner Order is the #1 ascension nexus for chosen ones? Well, now you do. But here's something you might not know. Joining the Inner Order gets you access to weekly group calls with over 450 fellow chosen ones, and we record them so you can catch up anytime. Our private Discord, it's not just active, it's a treasure trove of the world's most fascinating conversations. We're talking deep dives into occult knowledge, spiritual techniques, targeted individuals, diet optimization, and everything you need to fine-tune your ascension. This is where chosen ones gather to exchange wisdom, elevate one another, and tap into the kind of insights you won't find on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter. And for the seekers, dive into Modern Manifestation Mechanics, our exclusive grimoire with 3 chapters available to members. Learn how to turn your home into an abundance magnet, master basic spellcraft for physical manifestation, and channel magical forces to elevate your goals. Plus, you'll get access to interviews with real targeted individuals and video specials so bold, the YouTube archons don't even want you to see them. This is more than a membership, it's a movement. So what are you waiting for? Stop searching. Start ascending. The link is in the description. the obsidian inner order. So easy, a chosen one can do it. They stand now at the threshold of understanding, facing lessons they cannot escape, wisdom they cannot reject, and consequences they cannot negotiate. The spiritual dimensions of their actions reveal themselves in all their terrible symmetry. The cosmic ledger remains perpetually balanced, not through vengeance or punishment, but through the perfect mathematics of restoration. What they sent out returns. What they created rebounds. What they initiated completes its circle back to source. No exceptions, no special cases, no diplomatic immunity from universal law. Their spiritual bankruptcy reveals itself now. The karmic debt they accumulated through countless choices made from fear, greed, and desperation demands payment. And payment will be made, not because some external force demands retribution, but because balance must be restored. This isn't punishment. This is physics operating on the soul level. They mocked the concept of spiritual consequence. They dismissed the idea of cosmic justice. They laughed at warnings about the unseen dimensions of their actions. Now they stand, naked before these very forces, stripped of pretension, devoid of protection, facing the perfect mirror of everything they unleashed against you. Power once held rarely surrenders itself willingly, but some forces cannot be resisted, some tides cannot be turned, some shifts cannot be prevented. This is such a moment, a fundamental realignment that no amount of resistance can halt. There, authority dissolves like salt in water. Their control slips through fingers that grasp ever more desperately. The voices they once silenced now speak with thunderous volume. The truths they suppressed now spread with unstoppable momentum. People awaken as if from hypnosis, blinking in confusion at beliefs they accepted without question. How did we not see? They ask themselves. How were we so thoroughly deceived? The scales fall from eyes everywhere, and what is seen cannot be unseen. This isn't merely the transfer of power from one hand to another, it's the transformation of the very nature of power itself. The old mechanisms of control, fear, deception, isolation, lose effectiveness hour by hour. A new paradigm emerges, built on foundations they cannot corrupt or manipulate. The shift accelerates. What began as whisper becomes conversation, becomes declaration, becomes undeniable reality. Their desperate attempts to halt this transformation only highlight their increasing irrelevance to the new world taking shape around them. Mountains don't negotiate their presence. Oceans don't compromise their depth. And this shift, this fundamental reordering of reality, proceeds with the same elemental certainty. No amount of denial alters its course. No degree of resistance slows its progression. No appeal to tradition prevents its manifestation. They assembled armies against a hurricane. They built dams against a tsunami. They erected barriers against an earthquake. The futility of their resistance would be comical if it weren't so pathetic, like watching children attempt to hold back the tide with plastic buckets and tiny shovels. Their weapons against this shift prove useless. Their threats fall empty. Their manipulations find no purchase. The old tools that served them for so long suddenly appear as the primitive instruments they always were, effective only against those who believed in their power. Consider the elaborate architecture of your destruction they designed, the multi-layered strategies, the backup plans, the contingencies for contingencies. Such thorough planning, such meticulous detail, such focused intention, all now disintegrating before their eyes. What was meant to be your downfall stands revealed as the instrument of their own undoing. The very traps set for you now close upon them with poetic precision. Cosmic justice manifests in perfect clarity as their weapons turn in their hands. Those they recruited to their cause reconsider their allegiance. Those who executed orders question their own judgment. Those who stood silently by can no longer pretend ignorance of what transpired. The alliance formed against you fractures along lines of self-preservation. Watch as each carefully laid plan collapses. Watch as each strategy backfires spectacularly. Watch as the full weight of their malicious intent crashes back upon them with mathematical precision. Nothing is random here. This is the perfect operation of universal law. They never anticipated this outcome. In all their planning, in all their strategizing, in all their careful calculation, they failed to account for one critical variable. The truth cannot remain buried forever, and once revealed, it creates its own unstoppable momentum. Each domino falls with perfect timing. Each mechanism of destruction they created activates against its creators. Each element of their grand design fails precisely when its success seemed most certain. The symmetry of their collapse unfolds with such perfect elegance that it can only be described as divinely orchestrated. Those meetings where they plotted your demise, now exposed in full detail. Those communications where they coordinated attacks, now public record. Those resources devoted to your destruction, now revealed as wasted investment in a failed campaign. Every aspect of their conspiracy against you now serves as evidence in the case against them. They created an elaborate machine designed solely for your elimination. They devoted countless hours to its construction. They allocated significant resources to its operation. And now they watch in horror as this machine, their creation, their responsibility, turns its mechanisms against them with terrible efficiency. The hunter becomes prey, the trapper becomes ensnared. The executioner faces the blade. Their reputation lies in ruins, not because of any campaign against them, but because of the simple, devastating power of truth revealed. No elaborate conspiracy needed to destroy them. Their own actions, now exposed, accomplish this with perfect efficiency. The community that once embraced them now examines every interaction with new awareness. The words once accepted without question now face rigorous scrutiny. The explanations once sufficient now appear thin, transparent, inadequate in the face of mounting evidence. No matter how desperately they deny, no matter how creatively they explain, no matter how forcefully they deflect, the damage cannot be undone. Some bells cannot be unrung. Some revelations cannot be stuffed back into the darkness from which they emerged. Every attempt to minimize their involvement only emphasizes their desperation. Every effort to shift blame reveals the depth of their responsibility. Every strategy to escape consequence demonstrates precisely why consequences are necessary. The fallout spreads in concentric circles, touching all who participated, all who facilitated, all who knew and remained silent. No one emerges untouched from this reckoning. The only variable is the degree of responsibility each bears for what transpired. Their social capital, painstakingly accumulated over years of careful image management, evaporates overnight. Their credibility, once unquestioned within their circles, dissolves completely. Their influence, the true currency they valued, above all, becomes worthless in an economy suddenly trading in authenticity and transparency. Watch as former friends discover spines they didn't know they possessed. Watch as longtime allies suddenly find pressing business elsewhere. Watch as admirers transform into critics with breathtaking speed. The isolation they attempted to create, for you now manifests for them instead, forming a perfect circle of poetic justice. Their desperate attempts to control the narrative now accelerate its collapse. Their frantic explanations contradict established facts. Their impassioned denials conflict with documented evidence. Their tearful appeals for understanding fall on ears newly attuned to the frequency of manipulation. Every word they speak now digs their hole deeper. Every defense they offer only strengthens the case against them. You never needed to destroy them. Their own actions, once exposed to light, accomplish this with perfect efficiency. Your mere existence, persistent, unbowed, continuing despite their best efforts, constitutes victory beyond measure. You stand now at the center of a profound transformation, not as victim seeking retribution, but as catalyst activating necessary change. The revelation of what was done to you serves a purpose far greater than personal vindication. It exposes systems of control that harmed countless others before you. There exists a protection around you that no malicious intent can penetrate, not because of any special pleading, but because authentic alignment with truth creates its own impenetrable defense. You are untouchable not through force, but through rightness of position in the cosmic order. As they face their reckoning, as the full weight of universal law settles upon them, you walk forward unburdened by the need for revenge. Their destruction was never your responsibility. It was the inevitable result of their own choices set in motion long ago. The cat isn't just out of the bag. It roars with a voice that reaches the heavens and shakes the very foundations of what they built against you. Every secret exposed, every machination revealed, every participant identified. The light leaves no shadow unexplored, no darkness uninvestigated. Your moment arrives, not with trumpets or proclamations, but with the quiet certainty of dawn breaking after longest night. What they sought to end continues. What they tried to silence speaks with greater authority. What they attempted to destroy now stands as testament to the enduring power of truth. They went to extraordinary lengths to create your ending. They failed. And in that failure, they authored their own conclusion instead. The cosmic machinery of justice operates with flawless precision, beyond manipulation, beyond corruption, beyond escape. You never needed their approval to exist. You never required their permission to thrive. You never depended on their acceptance to fulfill your purpose. And therein lay their fundamental miscalculation. They believed their authority determined your reality. They thought their rejection could erase your truth. They imagined their denial could negate your experience. Wrong on every count. The resources are wasted in their campaign against you, the energy squandered, the opportunities missed, the potential never realized, all sacrificed on the altar of your destruction. And for what? To find themselves exactly where they feared. Most exposed, revealed, and facing the consequences of choices made from fear rather than wisdom. The cat is out of the bag. The truth is in the light. Their ending is written by their own hand. And your story? Your story continues, strengthened by fire, purified by challenge, and destined for heights they could neither imagine nor prevent. This is the power you hold. This is the victory you embody. This is the future they feared, now unfolding in perfect, unstoppable alignment with the highest order of justice. They went unimaginably far to end you. And in doing so, they only revealed how truly unstoppable you are.